The thing is, wishful thinking and the watch obsessive. You know what, man? We go on the internet, we look at watches, and we get an adrenaline rush, and we think we found a holy grail. We think we found it, and sometimes we engage in wishful thinking. A couple weeks ago, I had this really dumb thought. A Holy Grail timepiece for under $350. I got it in my head because there was this brand new watch, the Citizen Promaster Tough. And the Citizen Promaster Tough is marketed as tough, scratch resistant, anti-magnetic, anti-vibration, sapphire. It was just boom, 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 boom. I talked about it and I was going, is there really an exit watch, a Holy Grail timepiece for under $350? And then, thank God, the facts came in. YouTube viewers, more educated about watches than I am, brought in the facts. And you know what facts are? Facts are agents of sobriety. You get a watch obsessive who's intoxicated by some supposed Holy Grail, and you need the facts for sobriety. So the facts came in. Here's what some of you wrote. Some of you were concerned about me because this Citizen Promaster Tough, just from an aesthetic standpoint, is derivative of the Victorinox. One of you wrote it's derivative of the Victorinox Inox. Derivative styling does not qualify for a Holy Grail piece. And then Gary wrote me to tell me that the technical specs are inadequate to be a Holy Grail timepiece. Here's what Gary wrote. He knows more about watches than I do. A Citizen Exit watch needs a better movement than the cheap E168. This movement is used in their cheap divers, including the original Echozilla. So why does it matter how cheap a movement is, as long as it's reliable, right? Accurate, right? No, apparently there's some problems. Look at this. The hand movement is much more precise in the radio-controlled Citizens. For example, my Blue Angels and Promaster Sky H610 caliber models. On these models, the hands snap into place with no visible play, no slop. See this GPS Promaster, I think it's the F10, no slop. It's perfect second-hand movement on this military watch. In contrast with the Promaster Tough's cheap E168 caliber movement, there is noticeable play in the second and minute hands. An exit watch needs the best build quality and precision, even if it doesn't cost $1,000. So Gary was correct. The technical specs, they were cutting corners on that movement, and I was wrong. The facts sobered me up. Some of you were not just concerned about the aesthetic and technical shortcomings of the Citizen Promaster Tough. Some of you were concerned about the nature of my soul. Look what Michael wrote. I just checked out the Citizen Promaster Tough. I can't decide if it's boring or ugly, or both boring and ugly. You can do better than that, McMahon. You have done better than that. Dude, what happened to you? Have you given up on life? Wow. Have I succumbed to some cheap Holy Grail timepiece just so I can buy it and then curl up into the fetal position, go into a depressive coma for 10 years and then wake up and see if the second hand is still ticking? Terrible, terrible. And then one of you is even more concerned than Mike was. This person has a name, Voxer99. He writes this. You seem like a man who would have more important things to do than think about watches. So what's up? Give up the watches, bro. Move on. That's an interesting letter. Now, help me out. I might be reading too much into that comment. I'm thinking from reading that comment that Voxer99 is insinuating that I'm a man-child who's fixated on this childish little thing called watches, and that I should be moving on. Perhaps he would argue, and this is me, my own words here, that my hobby of watches is the equivalent of a man-child playing with G.I. Joe dolls. Well, number one, full disclosure, I am a man-child. So is my brother, so is my father. Number two, I do not play with G.I. Joe dolls. Did play with them as a kid. So I don't know if perhaps his note is too extreme. I think he and I would agree that even if we're watch enthusiasts, we do have to strive for some kind of balance, some sort of moderation. But overall, I find some some value in his note, as I do in Mike's and Gary's and all the other ones you gave me. The point is, you guys sobered me up with facts. I was able to evolve, and that's what I want to talk about today: evolution. I think no matter what we are, watch enthusiasts, surfers, computer geeks, we need to evolve. And the person who talked about how we evolve was the famous Swiss psychologist Carl Jung. And he talked about the 4 stages of life. You start off as the athlete, where you're into your body, and then you become the warrior, where you try to gain materialism, and then you gain the next level, you become bored with materialism, and you become the philosopher. You try to leave a meaningful legacy on this planet, and then you totally let go of your ego. For number 4, you become the spirit. I think what's scary about being an American is we have replaced Carl Jung's 4 stages with consumerism. We begin with Chuck E. Cheese, then we go to Dave & Buster's, and then level 3 is Las Vegas, and then level 4 is getting Botox injections while having a pedicure and binge watching Netflix before having a painless death, then being buried into a gold coffin while wearing a diamond-studded Rolex. I don't want to go down that road. I'd rather go to Carl Jung's road. Ladies and gentlemen, help me stay with a Carl Jung template of evolution. Keep giving me the facts to stay sober. Hey, if it means I have to give away all my watches and wear a $10 Casio, then so be it. Tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I'm out.